Hey guys, I'm Nick,
And I'm Tony.
and we're the Sicilian Brothers, and we're going to continue on with our financing money talks. Today we're talking about hard money and how to vet a hard money lender. So, Tony, what should a borrower look for when he's comparing apples to oranges with lenders?
So I would definitely go to your network and look for referrals, right? So is that hard money lender someone that's either loaned to someone you know, or are they known in the community or your community or your market, right? And
So how
start
they
there.
perform, right? Mm-hmm. The closing times, the speed at which they do.
Yeah, the ease at which they do. Do they make the loan difficult? Is the loan easy to get? Things like that.
Okay, so that should be like top one, right? Talk to somebody that's used them.
Yeah,
and can,
I think definitely talk to someone that's used them, because you will get the best way to vet a hard money lender is to see who's borrowed money from them, and if they make getting the money easy, then that's somebody you want to work with.
Okay. Is there, talking about how different pricing structures and terms, how does that work? What are some different terms that hard money lenders might use?
Well, without getting into specific terms and comparing, lender A to lender B, I would say one of the things you hear me say often, which is cheap money ain't easy and easy money ain't cheap. And so just keep that in mind. So when you're comparing lenders, don't go with the cheapest and expect it to be the easiest route, and don't go with the easiest and expect it to be the cheapest, right? So maybe find the happy medium.
Okay. What about term lengths? Are there difference between term lengths at borrowers?
Sure. I think some lenders loan at 3 and 6 months initially, and some loan on straight 12-month loans, right? So depending upon your exit strategy, you might only need a short-term loan. But if you're doing like a bigger project, maybe you want the longer-term loan up front. So look at those things up front to make sure you're not paying more.
Okay. And then there's extension fees on all loans, but that also might come into play with that time frame.
Yeah. So on your short-term loans, again, what happens if you stub your toe or something goes wrong or permits or whatever, right? And you'll have a 3 or 6 month term. You need more time anyway. So you went with the shorter term because it was cheaper and you thought you would save money, but by the time you added up your extension fees and stuff like that, it made the loan a lot more expensive than if you would have just went with that lender that did the straight 12-month loan up front, right? So those are all things to look at when you're talking about that hard money.
And then the last thing, because again, I'm not talking about rate and actual fees specifics, but what is the difference between a Dutch and non-Dutch scenario?
One is where you get charged interest on the entire loan amount from day one, compared to where you only pay interest on what you have drawn out, from day one, right? So if you start at $100,000 on a $150,000 loan and you're only borrowed $100,000 up front, you're only paying interest on that $100,000 compared to the entire $150,000. So
it affects the overall entire pricing that they have to give you.
Yeah, your overall interest is going to be less when you're only paying it on what you have drawn out. So again, there are no two hard money lenders that are alike, but definitely talk to people who have used them and see where you go from there.
So besides, and then the last follow-up would just be overall look at their points, fees, if there's any hidden surprises, extensions. Draw process fee. That's another thing that also people don't realize is sometimes if you're doing a $300 draw fee and you're going to do 610, that's significantly more than if you're just going to do a $150 fee or something.
Yeah, fees are obviously just whoever you borrow money from. Look at the fees and look at the fee structure, the fee sheet, and make sure that you're looking at everything, not just the points, not just the interest rate. Look at all of the fees, whether it's underwriting, processing, as you said, draw fees, right? Yeah. So look at the fee structure for the entire loan, not just getting into the loan.
I think the biggest,
because there are fees to get out of the loan, right? There are fees to get your money during the loan, and then there are fees to get out of the loan, right? So definitely look at everything.
I think the biggest hang up, especially for new investors, is they only see that rate. They just go to rate, and it's kind of like a trap.
Or they look at the points.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't want to pay points. Well,
I can do a 9-2 or 9-1, which is low on both sides, and then just tack on fees everywhere else.
Yeah. So rate, I always say this, people don't always agree with me, but rate doesn't matter. It's overall cost of doing the deal.
Yeah.
So that's
pretty much it that I had. So
yeah,
the basics. The beauty about 2020 is that everybody's on Facebook, right?
show.
It is a show, but anybody can go out there and just find somebody that's used that company, ask questions, network very easily, remotely. So just go on there and find out who has worked with the company, if there's any pros and cons, how their transaction went throughout the whole thing, not just the closing process, but also through the rehab, through getting out of it, and if they're going to recommend again.
So one of the beauties about technology and 2020 is you can go on something like Facebook and post the name of the company that you want to borrow money from and get a pretty accurate feedback of that company by your community. So you can go on Facebook and say, hey, I want to borrow money from X, Y, and Z. What do you think? And people will tell you exactly what they think or what their experience was with that lender. So I think vetting your hard money lender is very easily done today because of the power of Facebook and social media. So this was How to Vet a Hard Money Lender with Tony and Nick Sicilian. Like, subscribe, share, comment below. We'd love to hear from you, and hopefully you call us with more questions.
Have a good day.
Peace.